Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday. We're going to talk about a recent New York Times article on potted plant parenting. And Catherine, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, so this article discusses how teens might actually benefit from their parents' quiet presence in the house or the room where they are, even if they aren't really interacting. So that's how parents got compared to potted plants. They should just sit there and be as quiet as a fern. So we are asking today, what do you think? Did you find this reassuring, which is what the author says that she intended, or do you think it's just kind of dumb? And I know that Terry has a strong opinion.
Mom, you can be in the same room with me, but you can't say anything. Just sit there like a plant. Yes. This does not seem like a new teen attitude revelation.
Right.
I don't know. It's, there's no more assured topic for publication anywhere these days than I have a new take on parenting. Right. Here's a new parenting theory. You know what? If you're hovering over your kid, you're doing it wrong. If you're giving your kid all sorts of independence, you're doing it wrong. Here's another thing that you could do, but probably next week we will tell you why. You can't just sit there like a potted plant. You have to do this thing. So, as with all parenting advice, depends on the kid. I would actually welcome the opportunity to be a potted plant. I am trying really hard to be a potted plant. I'll just be sitting over here doing my work. Y'all go about your business. And yet, my young people seem to require, what's something more involved than a potted plant?
They want you to be like a goldfish or a lizard. They don't want as much of your attention as you would give to a dog. But
goldfish isn't that
a little
interactive.
Bit more.
Sometimes I feel like they would like to be the potted plants and they would like me to be the constantly on duty gardener.
Right.
I have no green thumb.
What did you think, Nicole?
It actually is very timely for me because I'm at this stage with my daughter that we're definitely moving into the potted plant mode because and it seems like it's a transition that's happened overnight. She used to be very attached to us, both in the house and outside of the house. And I almost felt like it was like, it was it was a very strong attachment. So, but lately, she is wanting to just have her own space. But of course, I need to be around in case the poor darling needs a glass of water or needs to ask me a question about her homework. So even though, and then of course, when I am not around, then the gnashing of teeth begins. But for example, when I was writing my book in the spring, she was so indignant that I was busy writing a book and not available at every whim. But if I tried to be there and tried to be, doing what she wanted me to do, then she didn't like that either. So, so then I just kind of pulled up a chair and sat in the corner and
acted like a potted plant.
Catherine, your daughter needs like a potted plant that drives, right?
Exactly. She wants a potted plant that has like arms that can hold onto a steering wheel. Yeah. I mean, I thought that this made some sense. That just a lot of times the kids do want to just kind of sense that you're there, but they certainly don't want you to be speaking or interfering in any way with what they're doing. But they secretly find it comforting that that you're there.
Yeah.
So that made a lot of sense to me in this particular article. So
kind of stinks if you're a parent who has to work, though. There was a little shade being thrown there. I mean, because I don't think parents say, "Oh, great, my kids are teenagers now. They don't need me anymore. I'm just going to go be a workaholic."
Right?
Do they? Maybe they do. Maybe some do, but
some do. In my world, I've seen that a lot. I don't know if I'm at that age or my kids are at that age, but a lot of parents just assume, oh, they're fine. They're on their phone. They don't need me. They're doing their homework. They don't need me. I don't need to be here. And then the parents are off doing something else outside of the house or inside the house, whatever. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like even though I'm home and having to do so much work, I sometimes feel like, if you're not available, you're bad. That's not, I'm not sure you want to lay that down. It depends, there's some situations where you can't help it.
Anytime you have, besides a job, more than one kid, you're not focusing all your attention on one of them because the other one needs stuff too.
Yeah. Sometimes the plant has to go in a particular place and then the other child has no plant.
Has no plant. They're not getting any fresh oxygen at all. Right. And how cruel is that?
You need to divide it into 2 pots.
That's right.
But I think it's important to note, though, that despite, whatever age that they're at, they still need us around in some form. And I think even with my son being in university, he's, as independent as he is, I still get the phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
So have you found good ways to connect with him since he's not living in your house, or with your daughter who is? Like, what kinds of activities do you share, or what do you do when you spend time together?
Oh, I give him money, and then he wants to spend time. No, I'm just kidding. Well, fortunately, he lives about 30 minutes from here, so we do see him a lot, and food is a big one. I'm not kidding you.
And laundry?
Food and laundry. So we find, I think of ways to lure him back to us. Or I'll go out there and meet him for lunch, or, he comes home and does his laundry. And Christmas time, we're going to take them on a little vacation. So you adjust your ways as they get older, but the message is still clear, and that's, I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to interfere, but
right.
I'm here and can give you things that you still need from your parents. So I don't want to just, push them off a ledge and say good luck.
That's very nice of you.
I want them around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard walking that line, though, between knowing when it's appropriate to interject your opinions and your, it's the whole, you can be in the room with me, but shut up, is clearly what they want, but not always what they need.
Right.
Sometimes the potted plant needs to reach over and disconnect the internet if there's something going on that it doesn't like. And sometimes it needs to say, do your homework, go outside, eat a good breakfast. They still need some parenting in addition to the just constant silent presence, but they don't always appreciate it. You can't just step back because that's what they want. I know why they want it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right.
Yeah. I don't know. What about your son, Catherine? I mean, he's still a bit younger, probably the youngest one that's here, the youngest child.
Yeah, he's 11. And it's hard sometimes because he disappears and watches videos or plays games or whatever. So we need ways to connect with him. I do find that when he does homework or even when he practices his music, if I'm nearby but not right in his face, that seems to help. So I try to do that. and, traveling with him or, taking him places, little outings. Those tend to be good ways for us to spend some time together and do things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard because he's a busy kid too.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on.
I read this great book years ago, which it really has helped shaped my parenting style. And it's about attachment parenting by Gordon Neufeld. I don't know if you read that one, but it's a great read because it encourages you to stay attached to your kids, not in like a creepy way, but but it gives you strategies and reasons for wanting to stay connected with your kids and having them, make choices that are based on the relationship that you have with them, and that the influence of their peers isn't so great. So that helps get them through the teen years. I don't know. It was just kind of a really good, it really informed me and helped me with my parenting style, because you can be attached to your kids and still let them go out there and do their own thing. And I kind of feel like that's a little bit like potted plant parenting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I picked out from the article was a statement about how teenagers seek new levels of emotional and physical distance from their parents, right? I mean, they're testing out their independence and trying to grow up and out. But it says, perhaps they, like toddlers, feel most at ease when their folks balance active engagement with detached availability.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what you were getting at, Terry, with, sometimes you can be the potted plant and sometimes you have to be like, no.
That's a hard balance. And it's also a balance that there can be a difference of opinion on. But I'm coming at it also with kids who have developmental differences and are maybe not, when they were in the teenage years, they weren't necessarily working with a full set of teenage tools. And so they needed more intervention. And I certainly was involved in everything. They didn't go anywhere without me. And so now in their 20s, maybe they're starting to have some of that, wanting less, but it's hard to tell. And it's hard for me to know where that balance is. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to back off and then I'm a nervous wreck. Because, what if it's, you want your toddler, you got to let go of your toddler for your toddler to walk, but sometimes your toddler falls on their face. So how do you prevent that? How do you know when to let go of the bicycle or how to? Well,
and also those are things that are not lasting problems, right? I mean, I feel like a toddler, the troubles and problems that a toddler can get into are much different from those that a teenager can get into.
And there's no end of stories on the internet that make you think, where were the parents? Why did they let this happen? And it's like, well, maybe they were rhododendrons in the corner and, all this stuff was going on and they were just giving their peaceful presence while the kid was being bullied online or was, or bullying somebody online or doing some horrible thing or hacking something or being hacked or things are going on in school. How do you know you can't even be a potted plant in school? They don't, could I just go sit on the shelf in the classroom and be a potted plant from school? Would that be okay? I won't say a word. I'll just watch. You have no idea what's going on there. So it can be fraught. I mean, with healthy, well-adjusted teenagers who are not having any problems at school, are well-liked and having, general success, you can just hang. Your role can be to fold laundry in the background while they're watching TV with their friends. That's great. But if they're not,
right, it's a very different story.
You're going to be in some trouble if you hang back.
So I think actually that's a good point, Terry, because I think it actually is dangerous to take the potted plant approach 100% of the time, because there are times that you do need to be more, have more of an eagle eye, be a little bit more intrusive, like a cactus.
Yes. It would
and poke at them and say, what's going on? What are you doing? How are things going?
And it would be nice if those situations announced themselves. Like if you had the little thing in the potted plant that tells you when you need to water it. If you had something like that said, oops, need to do something now. But you don't ever know unless you're over involved and nosy. and even then. But as we say with absolutely all parenting stuff, depends on the kid and depends on the parent. Some parents are fundamentally incapable of being potted plants. My mother was not. that was not within her skill set.
And the hour.
Yeah, my mom wasn't either, Terry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
My mom was the cactus.
Yes.
No, you know what she was? She was a weed.
Oh.
I don't know. I think my mom was like whatever is the opposite of the cactus, something that needs lots and lots of care and attention and pruning and, careful watering and, will curl up and
wither
like some sort of,
if not tended properly,
hothouse flower.
That's right.
Delicate rose.